Hello YouTube, welcome to the channel. If you get something out of the content that I put up here, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe and give me a like on these videos. It can make a real difference in the algorithms and how they share content with other channels. Also, if you're interested in some one-on-one Skype sessions, you'll find a good email on me in the description of every video I put up. Major scale shape on the mandolin in closed position. This is something that you should be comfortable with any one of your fingers over that root note. I like to demonstrate this in the key of D because we have this D note right here in the middle of the fretboard. So what you're probably going to think of is, for a D major scale, is starting on an open D string and using open D and open A. That's such a, first reaction that we're going to have because that shape is so common. We can just hear that sound of the major scale that we're so familiar with. Okay, we should be able to play that scale with any one of your fingers starting on this root note. So the first thing I like to have someone do is to take your index finger, play the 7th fret, then your middle finger, then your ring finger, and then your pinky. So look how that's changed your access to the fretboard. When your index finger's over that note, your pinky's up here in this neighborhood of the fretboard. So as we go through, each one of your fingers covering that root note, we want to learn those shapes. The first one is probably the most familiar. This is exactly what's happening in first position. The same shape, except now it's going to be closed. The D and the A note are going to be here on the 7th fret of the G string and 7th fret of the D string, instead of open D and open A. So here's that shape. So important. So many different things can be attached to that, and it's very visual, arguably more so than the other shapes we're about to look at because of its symmetrical value that both strings share the exact same fingering. That's 7, 9, 11, 12. Those are the frets that I'm playing. Then the same thing happens here. 7, 9, 11, 12. Okay, let's move on to some you may not be as familiar with. If my middle finger is covering that root note, this one has a really unique attribute also, that your fingers are constantly going to have one fret between them, like a whole step in terms of shape. Check that out, that the fret numbers I'm playing are 5, 7, 9, and 11. Constantly that fret between. Let me call those fret numbers out for the major scale in D with your middle finger over the root note. That's 7 on the G, 9 on the G, 11 on the G. Now 5 on the D, 7 on the D, 9 on the D, 11 on the D, and then to a D note, 5th fret of the A string. So there's our shape with the middle finger over the root note. Okay, moving on. Ring finger. When this finger is covering the root note, more than likely, we're going to go into arpeggio mode. You're thinking Bill Monroe chop chord shape immediately, and you're not wrong if you're thinking that, but it's a great idea. Realize that those other scale degrees, second scale degree, up to there with your pinky. Then we're going to play the third scale degree with our index finger, the same way we would if we were arpeggiating the chord. I'm just adding that one interval on my pinky. Then I play the fourth scale degree up to the fifth scale degree. Again, part of the muscle memory of that arpeggio. Now we get to play the sixth scale degree. Again, a pinky note that we could easily overlook when we're arpeggiating out of that shape. Now let's finish up with 4 on the A and 5 on the A. Back to a D note there. So if you wanted to think of that as kind of filling in around the shape of your arpeggio, certainly not a thing in the world wrong with that thought. So there we have 7 on the D. That's where they're all starting. This one, ring finger. Then we have pinky note, 9th fret of the G string. Now, 4 on the D, 5 on the D, 7 on the D, 9 on the D, 4 on the A, 5 on the A. That's the third of our 4 shapes. Okay, just one left, our pinky finger. Now we're all the way back here in first position. I'm going to start that root note on my pinky. Let me go ahead and play through the scale. Probably the least common position to play out of, but you owe it to yourself to get this under your fingers. So that's 7 on the G, then 2 on the D, 4 on the D, 5 on the D, now 7 on the D. We're keeping this closed position. 2, 4, 5 on the A string. That one can be very visual because we could easily play those intervals open on the D and A, but I'm keeping it closed. So I'm going to play through all 4 of those, and here we are. Again, each finger starting on that root note. So it's index, middle, ring, pinky, and then open again. That's an excellent exercise. Try to play that with a nice even cadence and get used to each one of these shapes. 4 fingers, 4 different shapes, just one major scale that we're playing there.